Charlie should be here any minute. Wow, or wait. I'm just gonna play some music.
All right. Start it, Morris.
Start what?
Are we already live?
Yeah.
All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to CNC Talks After Hours Live, where we record live episodes of our show to show you exactly what goes into our show. So today we'll be recording an episode of the Finland series. We last left off with the Winter War. I don't know if that one's been uploaded yet. I believe it has. But today we'll be doing the Continuation War, which was a continuation of the Winter War, hence the name, that started after Operation Barbarossa when Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union. So there's a little bit of background. I can't, of course, get into that in the 1 minute that I have. So at 2 minutes here, I will be starting attempt 1, which, of course, I doubt will go as well as I hope it will, but we shall see. Right.
Wait, Charlie. Also start recording on your computer.
All right. Let me pull that up.
Because the YouTube audio is not good.
All right. All right. 3, 2. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to CNC Talks After Hours. I'm your host, Charlie, and let's get started. This is part 3 of the history of Finland from 1917 to 2023, and today we'll be talking about the Continuation War during World War II. As we left off, the Finns had been defeated in the Winter War after causing huge amounts of casualties to the Soviet Union. And 2 years later, Germany invades the Soviet Union during World War II. Finland sees an opportunity to this after previously signing the Anti-Comintern Pact late in the 1930s, which was an anti-Soviet alliance sparked by Germany, Italy, and several other of their allies in Europe against the Soviets. This war goes pretty well for Finland to begin with, as they force the Soviets back from Lake Ladoga and almost take the city of Murmansk. They failed to do this, however. But in late 1944, the Soviets go on a huge push after weakening the German forces significantly, and the Finns are forced to surrender in late 1944, which really puts them under some Soviet control, which we'll get to next episode. All right, so that was really what goes into it. I'm going to do some tweaking on that. So this was attempt 1. This is not exactly what I wanted, but we'll try again in a few seconds here. I'm just going to do a little bit of editing. So let's listen to this then. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to CNC Talks After Hours. I'm your host, Charlie, and let's get started. This is part 3 of the history of Finland from 1917 to 2023. Okay, and today we'll be talking about the Continuation War during World War II. As we left off, the Finns had been defeated in the Winter War after causing huge amounts of casualties to the Soviet Union. Yep. And 2 years later, Germany invades the Soviet Union during World War II. Okay. Finland sees an opportunity to this after previously signing the Anti-Comintern Pact late in the 1930s, which was an anti-Soviet alliance sparked by Germany, Italy, and several other of their allies in Europe against the Soviets. This war goes pretty well for Finland to begin with, as they forced the Soviets back from Lake Ladoga and almost take the city of Murmansk. They failed to do this, however. But all right, let's stop there. That sounds pretty good so far. Just need to make sure of something. This is really what goes into it. This is that first take, considering how well they usually go. This was a very good first take. The Finns indeed did not take Murmansk. Let's listen to the rest of this. In late 1944, the Soviets go on a huge push after weakening the German forces significantly, and the Finns are forced to surrender in late 1944, which really puts them under some Soviet control, which we'll get to next episode. Okay, so I'm going to change this last little bit. which really puts them under that bit right there, because I want to clarify they weren't under Soviet control. They were bordering the Soviet Union. All the Finns really lost in this war was the city of Petsamo, which is in the very northeast of the country. They didn't lose too much. This was another previous agreement of the Moscow Treaty of 1940, which actually ended the Winter War. So I'm just going to quickly change that. Let's see what we had previous. Weakening the German forces significantly, and the Finns are forced to surrender in late 1944 and accept the previous borders of 1940. We'll get to the Cold War next episode. All right, let's listen to that. And the Finns are forced to surrender in late 1944 and accept the previous borders of 1940. We'll get to the Cold War. You can tell that that's a problem because of how janky that quality is. You can hear it right here. And the Finns are forced to surrender in late 1944 and accept the previous borders of 1940. Right there. We'll get to the Cold War next episode. Isn't ideal. So I'm going to go back. Union during World War II. Finland sees an opportunity to this after previously signing. Okay, I'm going to go back. War during World War II. As we left off, the Finns had been defeated in the Winter War after causing huge amounts of casualties to the Soviet Union. Okay, I think right there is where we want to continue from. So we've just finished discussing the Winter War, which we talked about last episode. So let's go from there. Let's hear what's just after it. And 2 years later, okay, we're going to talk about Operation Barbarossa. Okay. Huge amounts of casualties to the Soviet Union. Proving that the Soviet military isn't as strong as it once was after Stalin's great purges of the 1930s. This sparks an opportunity for Germany, who breaks the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact in 1941 and invades the Soviet Union. Seeing an opportunity, Finland assists in the invasion, knocking out Soviet forces near Lake Ladoga and assisting in the siege of Leningrad, as well as attempting to take Murmansk in the north. This fails. The Germans are weakened in 1942 and 1943 as the Soviets go on a massive push in the summer of 1944, which also knocks Finland out of the war, and they lose the town of Petsamo to the Soviets, and we will get to the politics of the Cold War within Finland next episode. All right. So this is going to be a short, so it has to be under a minute, and we have exactly 59 seconds and 59.62, which, in my opinion, is pretty much ideal. That's, I think, the best we're going to get. So, with that said, I think that is ready to go. So I'm going to send this over to our editors, Morris and Zach, and I would like to thank you, the viewers of this episode, for watching this episode. I really appreciate that, and go check out our episode when it drops next Wednesday.
One last thing before we end this live stream. I think in the future there may or may not be, correct me if I'm wrong, some longer form content in the works.
Yes, there will be. We're working on a series. CNC Talks, Cutting Room Floor is the working title. We will probably change that at some point. It's going to be things like this, where I talk about things that I couldn't fit into 1 minute, where I discuss, for example, what exactly was the Molotov-Ribbentrop Pact, things that really can't fit into our episodes or I don't have enough time. For example, I'm currently working on one about the Agadir crisis in Morocco in 1911. I think that's going to be about 3 minutes long, and we're really excited to show you guys this new series. So be on the lookout for that on the second channel called CC Talks After Hours.
And finally, don't forget to subscribe to both channels at CC Talks and at CC Talks After Hours. And yeah.
And follow me on Twitter at Charlie from CC Talks.
Thank you so much. And this hopefully is not the last one of these. So yeah.
All right. Thank you, everybody, and have a good night.